welcome to Sisters for Christ, where the motto is, I am my sister's keeper. I am your host, Daphne. Sisters for Christ is a podcast to reach women of color through the Black Christian woman perspective, where this is a place for her voice to be heard, broken down, and understood. And I'd like to thank you all for checking us out on today, and thank you to our loyal listeners out there. I would love to hear from you all, so please shoot me an email at sistersforchrist211@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on our various social media such as Facebook. Go find us at Sisters for Christ. And on Instagram, find us at sisters_for_Christ. Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to us on whatever platform that you listen to us on right now. Alright, stay tuned, because today's episode is called Melaninated Conversations, Golden Struggles. Come listen as we talk about relocating and starting over, golden child syndrome, and living your life and not your family expectations of you. Alright, we got a special guest in the building, Shawana McDonald.
Hey y'all, I'm Shawana.
Like I said, stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Yup. Yeah, it's Sisters for Christ. I got my girls for life. Ayy, I hope you see the God in me. I need Jesus indeed. He hung on the tree, ayy, so I could be set free. That's why I lay down my life for a testimony. What? To set these other women free. What? To know that they ain't gotta be. What? Tricking to the enemy. We can all be free. Yeah, it's Sisters for Christ. Hey, I got my girls for life. Hey, yeah, it's Sisters for Christ. Hey, I got my girls for life. We don't do no strife. We don't do no strife. We don't do no strife. 'Cause God indeed. Alright, y'all. So on this episode, we got our special guest. We got Shawana McDonald in the building. You hear me? She coming through, y'all. And so, y'all, this is such a special episode. I think it's kind of different than what we've been doing, which I'm excited for. I decided to call this episode Melaninated Conversations, Session 1. And so, yeah, it's going to be good. So, yeah, Shawana, you want to tell the people a little bit about yourself, or you want me to do it?
You can do it, Dale.
All right, yeah, y'all. So I've been knowing Shawana's been 7, 8 years. Been knowing you about
since 2013.
It's been about 8 years. And so Shawana currently resides in Dallas, Texas, and she is married to Carlton. What year y'all on? Year 5, year 6? What year is this?
Girl, year 5 in May was year 5.
Yes, congratulations. Yeah, y'all, they on year 5. Yeah, I know she went to UT with me. And currently, what industry do you work in? She want to remind me again?
Title insurance.
Yeah, she working in title and insurance, y'all. So I'll be having to get some advice from someone. I need some right now. You hear me? Man, educate us for real. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one particular reason that, you know what I'm saying, Black people aren't educated on at all. Like, literally, we not taught that. I wasn't taught that at home, and I wasn't taught that in school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think we were taught the supporting roles of different industries. Like, you've known of a realtor, but you don't know about the other supporting jobs that go into that. Closing specialist, your loan officer, your title company, and all these other supporting jobs that go into that. And I think that's across industries in general. You don't learn about the other supporting roles.
No, not until you smack dab in the middle of it.
Not until you need a job. And you like, what's that? But me and Daphne, we met when we both and a couple of other girls went to South Africa together. And so we might have met a little bit before that in our actual Africana Studies class?
I ain't meet it until
You weren't in the class with us?
no, I wasn't in that particular class. When y'all, I worked at the writing center, and remember
Oh,
y'all, remember y'all had
and
the writing center. Y'all came in there for them
mm-hmm,
slips. So when I went to Africa, that was my
mm-hmm.
first encounter with Dr. Saul. Until,
Oh, gotcha.
hmm
That's crazy.
yeah,
We were in the class, but you was in the writing center when we came for that class. That's crazy.
hmm but yeah, and so I'm gonna do Saul, man. That was a time. You hear me? And so, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
going to South Africa for that, what? It was a little bit over a month, about 5 weeks, almost 2 months, yeah. And
Girl,
just
it was almost 2 months. Yes, almost 2 months of French fries and pizza. Yes.
French fries and pieces what she wanna ate, y'all, because she wasn't adding none of that to her nutrition, her
Mm-hmm.
nutritional intake. Mm-mm. Well, yeah.
I tried, but mm-mm.
Yeah, she wasn't having it, so we ate this place called Da Vinci's. And shout out to the rest of our South African sisters who went with us. Yeah, that was a
Yes.
learning experience, you know what I'm saying? Just to be I think that's an experience that a lot of black people don't get to experience that I wish, you know what I'm saying, that we all would have a chance to experience, to actually go back to Africa, you know what I'm saying? The Marcus Garvey movie going back to Africa, just seeing how
Mm-hmm.
rich our culture is and just making those deep connections, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that was a blessing. We learned a lot. We saw a lot of things. I think that's when those stereotypes was like broken for us, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the things that they lie to us and show us on TV, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's because I think the thing after seeing a lot, learning a lot, we had to come back home and marinate on a lot, you know. And even with marinating on a lot, that's kind of what you calling this episode "Melanated Conversations." I think that was the first time that I don't know, maybe it was like 6 or 7 of us. You know, the 6 or 7 that I'm talking about, but
It was more people, y'all, but
um.
we was the melanated ones.
Right, we was the melanated ones. To be able to have discussions, and then this, you having a podcast now, and like, what was it, Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend? I never know which one is which. But when you
Memorial.
came to visit, it was like we have been having these conversations for quite some time together as melanated conversations.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Especially like y'all, when I went, I literally texted Shawana the week of and I said, Shawana, can I still come visit you? Literally, I said, hey, well, I'm about to pull up this weekend. She was like, when Memorial Day? I was like, it's this weekend. I'm gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Like I really was, cause look, yeah, I was like really missing like black people and
Mhm.
black people where I can have like deep, trusted conversations with. Like I, I mean, I'm here in Austin. Austin, like super white. But I mean, they got black people here. Of course, Austin has black people here, and I be going to the black events and whatever, whatnot, and
Mhm.
trying to connect with people. But I mean, just something like a connection that I have with Shawana and some more. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like conversations with your day ones. You know what I'm saying? So, and I
Mhm.
just really needed that.
I said it takes time to cultivate relationships. So when you move to a new place, you got to have a certain amount of energy to be like, okay, I'm gonna make some new friends and talk to some new people. And every time you need to vent or get something off your chest, you don't necessarily want to do that with new people in general. You don't want to have to just to tell you what's going on with me right now. I got to tell you my whole past. Where you got some people that have lived and grown through some of your past with you, so it do come a little bit easier. It's a little bit more relaxed, and it's a whole lot more understood.
Yeah, exactly. You can just start from point A, point B. It was so good, y'all, and it was so like refreshing because that's what my soul really needed. Like I drove up
Mm-hmm.
to Dallas. I think Shawana had cooked, but I had literally just ate tacos. So I just like, no, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want no tacos. So I just stopped at Sonic, and as soon as I got in there, the conversation just started rolling, just started flowing. Then what we ended up watching like High on the Hog on Netflix. We ended up being
Yes.
watching those episodes.
Mine, y'all, before Daphne got here, I had already watched it twice. But I was like, Daphne, we gotta watch the whole thing again.
Yeah.
So, did you enjoy it,
I
Daph?
did. I actually told somebody else about it, and I've been re-watching them. And I think it was really good. You know what I'm saying? Just how if y'all have seen this a Netflix show docu series, I think they just go explaining
Mhm.
how. Well, you can probably get a better explanation of it for me, Shawana.
Um, so it's like a different variation of telling our story. So basically, it tells our story of travel, but through food. And so instead of us, I don't know, maybe some people think this, I don't know. But just in general, if you were one of those type of people that thought, oh, when we came over here, or maybe you just didn't think about it enough, when we were brought over here, we picked up all these skills or had to uh, basically think of other ways on how to do something. If you thought that that started here, this takes it back to Benin, Africa, which I didn't even know Benin was is that bad? Well, it's probably as bad, but I don't care. But I didn't know that Benin was one of the countries involved in the slave trade. And so for it to start there and talk about the food there and how the skills and the food that we had traveled with us, and we already had those skills when we landed, and then it starts telling the story, it puts a different outlook on what is fine dining. Where did fine dining come from? Who invented fine dining? And the fact that we were a part of the seafood industry, the whole time, a part of the rice industry the whole time. And so it's still telling the story of, slaves and George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, but through the eyes of the cook.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that okra was, yeah, like brought from Africa with us. And I just like, I love okra. I love boiling me some okra with
Hmm.
some vinegar. And also,
Hmm.
I love me some fried okra. You hear me?
And I don't eat okra. Now I feel like I'm rejecting something I shouldn't be rejecting. Like I was reintroduced. No, I was introduced to okra probably at a white restaurant. Like maybe what's that restaurant where they throw the rolls at you and
Lambert's in
really
St. Louis.
Lambert's. Yeah, that was the first time I heard of okra when my uncle was like, put some ketchup on it. But I don't know if Lambert's is, black owned, and we didn't like cook okra in my household. I don't recall. So it's crazy how something so, what do you call it? I want to say so black, but that might not be appropriate. But something that should be so native to me is being reintroduced to me, not in a black setting.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Especially too, like when they talked about them yams and stuff on there. I was just like, yams.
Hmm.
The difference between yams and mashed and sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But
I was at this restaurant this past weekend. It was like candy yams. I was like, no, these are just regular sweet potatoes.
exactly. Yeah, y'all. So me and Shawana conversation on that night, you know what I'm saying, after me desiring like really in a place where I needed to be around melanated people and have like deep conversations and then watch shows that edified and uplifted us as black people, then like and then where did our conversation go? I feel what I would call our conversation. I kind of feel like the topic of like the golden child. And I feel like even though I feel like sometimes that's how like our family might treat us as the golden child, like we got the answers, like we
Hmm.
can fix it. So yeah, me and Shawana talked about our struggles, like yeah, being in a family that how would you describe a family that leans on us for guidance or in our experiences in college, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, with them doing that with us and
Yeah.
trying to maneuver that.
Yeah, it's like they lean on our potential, and it's a two-sided situation. So even though they may be leaning or we're leaning on our potential as support, it ended up to the point where you leaning on my potential, so it's actually hurting it because I can't freely think like I need to think. I can't fully invest in myself like I need to, or think about myself or get to know myself, because right now the only self that I know is my role in emotionally, because at this time it's high school, we ain't got money like that in high school,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the emotional lean that eventually when you go to college, then it turned to a intellectual and savvy type of lean on you. And then now that we have jobs and we've moved, now we being leaned on for life experiences and financial literacy. Maybe it's not like physically giving somebody cash, but it's the physical. Let me go to her for this question and this question and this question. And we talked about at the same time that that's being, I don't want to say put on us because it's like a strong lane, because I don't know of anybody that would literally just come and sit something in your lap, but it's the lane that is so heavy. And then we get to a point, especially I think our generation, we get to a point where we want mental stability. Like I think that's what's driving millennials now in the workplace and our personal lives. And what do they call millennials now? Like, what is it, like entitled or selfish or
Yeah, I think that's what they say, or that's what they feel, you know what I'm saying? Because especially with us being a generation where we're more willing to branch out and to not stay home, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, how they try to guilt trip us, you know what I'm saying? But we going where we
mm-hmm,
feel led, you know what I'm saying? Wherever I know I go, wherever the Lord leads me, you know what I'm saying? And I know, like, hey, your help comes from the Lord. It doesn't come from me. It doesn't come from Daphne. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord will
mm-hmm,
provide a way for you to be sustained.
mm-hmm. Um And in the midst of that, I guess the entitled terms and selfish and us following our passions, when really we just trying to create some type of boundary to protect our potential and to protect our mental state. And I guess it don't come off to the rest of the world like that. It's something they can comprehend or understand. And so me and Daphne ended up talking about the ways, the new examples that have come up in both of our personal lives, and the ways that we try to navigate these situations, even though we don't be hitting the nail on the head as we navigate these situations. And I mean that in the form we might cut up on somebody one time for the one time, even though that's not what we want to do, because I think me and Daphne, I don't know if you would agree here, Daphne, but I think we both realize that we got to do a whole lot more forgiving, you know, and a whole lot more thinking about the ways we react to our, not really our friends, but just our family members when it comes to this whole pedestal of a golden child type situation. Because in some instances at the same time, that has been used to black sheep us
Hmm.
sometimes. So yeah, we the golden child when it's beneficial to a situation, but then we also end up being a black sheep because we are always needed. We always need it, but we're it's like we're not allowed to need anything. And even if we did vocalize it, it's not serious.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because they view us as being strong, you know what I'm saying, and having the answer. Sometimes we do get weary, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't have all the answers. And for some of y'all who might not be familiar with the golden child is, so definition for a golden child is one who is favored or the favorite, often held in high esteem by others, and for whom there are high hopes. Let me know, with me going to college, I'm a first generation college student. Shout out to all the first gen, you know what I'm saying, that had to go out there and just figure things out. So me and Shwana both talked about like how we coming from Memphis, you know what I'm saying, Chocolate City, you know, even though I know DC, they call DC that, but that's what really Memphis is, straight Chocolate City. And then
Hmm.
we headed out to Knoxville. I mean, Knoxville is pretty white. It's a pretty white city, like 80%.
We went from chocolate city to chocolate chips.
I know, to that white chocolate, you know what I'm saying? But the black population, like on UT campus, is pretty large. I mean, when you get to the black students, it's pretty large. But then me and Shawana was also talking about like, hey, how we dealing with these pressures of coming, of just transitioning into a new space. You know what I'm saying? To what does our roles, you know what I'm saying, look like? Until from being Like in our case, the smartest person in the classroom, the smartest person in the school, like the smartest person around, and to a place where we can't really lean on that as our identity anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else here is
Mhm.
pretty top tier here. But then also, we're still trying to figure that out and maneuver that, trying to make new friends, trying to find our identity, but then still having our families, even though they're miles away, still us having that load on us. You know what I'm saying? Even though we physically left, the burdens hadn't.
Daph. Speak on it, Daph.
Yeah.
So that was probably the meat of the conversation, right? Where we are still, even though we are away trying to regroup and reanalyze our identity and reclassify it or grow it. There we go. Let's go with grow it. We're still responsible for handling, not even just being involved in the issues or knowing about the issues or whatever have you. We're still responsible for providing the solution to these issues while being 600 miles away. Where I got my own solutions that I need to be trying to figure out, like how I'm gonna pass all these classes I'm not used to studying, or dang, I gotta wash my clothes myself now, or I gotta figure out what I'm gonna eat, manage my refund checking, this, that, and the other. Because mind you, where we come, that's not something that's normally bills and financial responsibility is not something that is taught to us at school or at home for the most part. Because I can recall in the household that I grew up in, my parents didn't want me to worry about bills, but somehow in the midst of that, I was still responsible for making solutions to issues, whether it was family drama or just whatever type of drama going on, or getting everybody back on the same page, if that makes sense. And so going to UT, just to get to the meat of it, I think I don't want to call it like a breakdown or anything like that, but I had a moment where I had to relay to my family, like, I cannot do both of these things at 100% at the same time. I literally just can't do this. It's finals time. I need to be studying. I can't be worried about this, that, and the other. And that did not roll over well. Even me just voicing like I need a moment to get myself together, that just wasn't something that ran over well. And I still have to think about that. And even now that I'm older, it took a couple of years to transition to a point of practicing boundaries. And me and Daphne are both still in the midst of that. But just practicing boundaries, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to say is we're human too. I'm not your life's fixer. I can be a supporter, I can be a friend, or this or that, but I can't continue to put my hands on everybody's situation every single time. I'm small. I ain't got the muscles for it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, hey, like, we aren't Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't come with miracles, you know what I'm saying, to fix your problem. Hey, can't be there alongside of you. But then, you know what I'm saying, when we come in fixing things, one, you become reliant on us and we're actually crippling you. And what we want to do is to equip you, you know what I'm saying, and not
Mhm.
cripple our family members, you know what I'm saying? Just like how you were saying earlier about how you go from like being you can be the golden child, but then also the black sheep. And when I was thinking about it, when you said that, even before then, like even after our conversations, it just made me think about like Joseph, you know what I'm saying? And if y'all familiar with the
Mhm.
story of Joseph and how he was so loved by his dad and mom, and Joseph wasn't doing nothing but being himself. Joseph was just doing his thing. He was just born, and because of how his family like treated him, you know what I'm saying, he ended up turning and being hated by his brethren.
Mhm.
And I mean, he probably was a little obnoxious, but I don't know. That's the Bible don't tell me none of that. You know what I'm saying? But
The Bible don't say if he was obnoxious or not.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's basically because of how his family treated him in a way that made his brothers jealous and turned him to a being loved by his parents, but then black sheep by his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's an example of what comes to my mind. He was just born in here, and these are just the circumstances of like of what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, things can be put back to order and to right wrongs, you know what I'm saying? But some of these stuff are just like conversations that need to be had, which is like, hey, when do I have this conversation? You know what I'm saying? I think to like when like I don't want to continue to be I don't want necessarily to say burden because it's a joy, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, to have family, you know what I'm saying, and to be
Family.
able
Mm-hmm.
to guide them, but then also it can be a heavy load when you're trying to figure out life for yourself and figure all those things out. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, y'all. Welcome back. And don't forget, y'all, to purchase Sisters for Christ merch. We got Sisters for Christ shirts on sale. Don't forget to go cop you one. You can go to our website at sistersforchrist.com. Just look us up. And also Facebook and Instagram. You can find the link. Also, don't forget to email us feedback at sistersforchrist211@gmail.com. I love to hear from you, what you're loving about the show. And then also for your feedback, I'm giving out discounts on the shirts. All right, now back to Shawana. I just think about, you know what I'm saying, you, Shawana, you know, and moving to Dallas, getting married miles away from
Mm-hmm.
your family, you trying to establish like your thing. And I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying, but then trying to think about your family at the same time, which I mean can
Mm-hmm.
be you're not trying to be running two households, you know what I'm saying, in two different cities.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that, Daff, because that's something I had to realize. I live here. And not to, it's like I don't know, the value of words and the way that the word, what are you really trying to say when you use that specific word? Like when you say, oh, I'm going home, like I will catch myself, my parents' house, like I'm going home, but this is my home. Like me and my husband established ourselves in a home, in a house together in Dallas. I no longer reside in Memphis. I no longer reside at my parents' house. And that's exactly what it is. My version of home. And maybe that's not the case for everybody, where some people still call their parents home, and that's just what it is. And home is associated with love. I get that. But for me, having to handle things, I cannot associate or no longer associate home with being my parents' house if I'm going to heal and move on and establish boundaries. Now, when I go home, I stay at my parents' house. When my parents come here, they stay at my house. Or maybe I should say I stay at my parents' home, because that is where they call home, and they stay at my home when they come visit me. And so the most important part about that is when I when I go to my parents' home, I don't want to disrupt the values that they've created in the home, the what do you call it? The ambiance of their home.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I wouldn't want somebody to walk through the doors of my house and completely change how I feel about my home. And so with creating those boundaries, a very, very hard thing to do because, and I guess we can talk about like what steps we took to try to, because at this point, we in our late 20s now, Daph. Can't be going off on people like that no more. So I tried something very different this time, and that was silence. Like that was the very first thing I did was just practice silence. And true enough, everybody thought something was like wrong with me. Like maybe they thought I went missing or something like that. But I needed to practice silence just to disappear for myself and to disappear for them. Because at the end of the day, y'all have to continue to live life without my input, without the, what do you call it, guaranteed solution that I will go from the highest of hills to the lowest of valleys to try to provide. Um, and now it's just silence. Like anytime I'm a silent, because at this point my words not gonna be nice. So I'm gonna practice silence, and that did much more, much more than it did when I called myself popping off on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped, set the boundaries to where now I can set boundaries at work very easily, very subtly, without having to tell, nobody call me before 10. I just don't answer my phone before 10 now. Like, I don't have to verbalize it anymore because don't call me before 10. I need time to myself in the morning. I'm not saving myself for later tonight anymore, or whenever I can get a free day in. And so it's just, if anybody was to start trying to create those boundaries and kind of pull yourself back to help people understand what role and position you try to play now, I think the first thing is most definitely silent.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, and I think too. Yeah, just coming to the a realization too that that season of that role that you play has come to an end. I think you know it's good. You know what I'm saying? To like you can grieve that too. Like, hey, like I
Mhm.
can't be the savior. You know what I'm saying? Because that can be a syndrome. You know what I'm saying? That savior syndrome. You know what I'm saying? It feels good to save people, but
Mhm.
hey, like am I helping them out in the long run by keeping them dependent on me? You know what I'm saying? So I think
Mhm.
silence is good to take a step back from that, to grieve that you can no longer play their role, and boundaries. I think boundaries is
Mhm.
that, you know what I'm saying? And even don't allow others, you know what I'm saying, to guilt trip you for putting yourself yourself first, you know what I'm saying? Not only like physically it'd be good for you, but also mental and emotional, and things do change
Mhm.
between generations, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't allow
Mhm.
anybody to make you just feel, yeah, just try to guilt trip you for doing what you feel led to do. You know what I'm saying? Majority of things I do, I
Mhm.
feel led by God. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to me moving to a different city and all those things, you know what I'm saying? Or pursuing my dreams or my passion or whatever the Lord puts on my
Mhm.
heart. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm intentionally trying to hurt anybody, but no, I'm going down the path which I feel that I need to, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I need to live my life, you know what I'm saying? The life that the Lord has given me while I can, and that's okay.
Mhm. Mhm. And when you say others to guilt trip you, sometimes we guilt trip our own self. What do they? I think they call it like survivor's remorse.
Hmm.
Like, we leave, and I maybe when we left Memphis and went to Knoxville, and maybe just the Memphis culture, like you put on for your city, and all this other stuff. I'm pretty sure that's true in some capacity,
Hmm.
but to for life commit to having to carry it on your back without peace. You can carry something, right, and still have peace. But if you carrying the weight of a whole family, of a whole culture, of a whole city, then at what point do you experience peace?
Hmm.
And this last year has, almost the last year ish, probably has been the most peaceful, the most uneventful, time of my life, and that I'm happy about because I've seen it. I've seen it in my hair. I've seen it in my weight gain. Like, for your listeners don't know that, but I'm very small. Like, I was weighing 99 pounds. And when I started seeking peace, Jesus is always in the midst of that. But when I was like seeking just, not spiritual peace is one thing, but just seeking peace in my lifestyle,
Hmm.
I gained me a good old 20 pounds. And that I'm
Amen.
happy about, because I stopped spending my extra energy, all all of my extra energy, all of my extra time on other people's problems, other people's lives, other people's, solutions and things like that. Now I just dibble and dab, here, there. There are a few people where, you do have to get involved because it's what do they call it? A equally yoked relationship. But for the ones that's not an equally yoked relationship, I can only give so much because I know how this goes at this point. I know you need more than I can give because I can no longer give time on E.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a fourth of a gas tank, but not completely down to E.
Yeah.
And for people, your listeners that are listening, if you one of those people that are, you realize that there's a person that's always there to help you, always there to do this, always do that, make sure you show some appreciation, because that person is, that don't think that they don't think about the fact that, oh, I'm helping this person. Maybe if I help them one more time, maybe if I help them one more time, it's always one more time in their head. Show some appreciation, show some progress, show that their energy with you is not going to waste, because we say a whole lot. We need more people like Jesus in this world. We need more, we need to be in the image of Jesus. And that's getting hard for some people to do because it's a take society right now.
Mm-hmm.
And for the few givers out here, we giving to a whole lot of people and the ratio not adding up right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and I strongly believe that appreciation is a verb, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you saying you appreciate me, but appreciate me in physical sense, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not necessarily saying like gifts or anything, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, you know what a person like a thoughtful, something that's thoughtful, a car.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh,
Oh, you
you should know,
should
you know
know.
what I'm saying? Like if you realize you always take it from somebody and you don't know nothing about them, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't say what's your favorite color? Oh, you like these type of flowers. What's your favorite color? Oh, you like this restaurant. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like even if you don't have much to give, like it don't call man, you can go to Dollar Tree. That's the Memphis coming out of me when I say man, you can go to Dollar Tree and for the 50, yeah, and for that 50 cent, you know what I'm saying? You can you literally thank you cards at Dollar Tree only cost 50 cents. 55 cents if you add the
Mm-hmm.
tax on there, if it even get to 55. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? It literally
Mm-hmm.
takes
And if you go to Dollar
you
Tree,
hear
you can
me?
get 2 for 1.
You hear me?
Say that other appreciation card for the next time you want to appreciate
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, man, write a poem. If you ain't even got the 50 cent, like it don't take nothing, you know, to write a
Mm-hmm.
poem or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to be thoughtful, you know what I'm saying, for
Mm-hmm.
somebody who does take their time out for you. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Shawana, I think that's all that
Mm-hmm.
I had. Did you have anything else? But yeah, let's recap. But at the end, did you have anything else that you wanted to add or say that we didn't get a chance to say?
No, I just pray that the message come off clearly and somebody take, whatever pieces and nuggets of information that we shared or experiences we shared, thought we shared, um, that they can somehow use that in a positive way in their life to either change the trajectory of their life or change their relationship with somebody or reestablish their relationship, heal their relationship, because that's most definitely something that's scary to do. Creating space is scary to do. Recreating space
Mm-hmm.
is scary to do. So I just hope it helps, especially for any college student that's really trying to, or anybody, actually anybody, because you don't these days you don't necessarily have to go to college to make magic, but for anybody trying to do something that your family never seen before, they never seen anything like you. Um, I pray that it work out. I pray that they understand, um, and that they support you.
Amen. And if they don't support you, I just pray that the Lord send you somebody who will, you know what I'm saying, who will support
Mhm.
you. You know what I'm saying? That's my prayer for everybody. And that's a part of like Sisters for Christ, you know what I'm saying, that we can be that community, you know what I'm saying, for if you don't have it.
Mhm.
I agree wholeheartedly with what you just said.
Mhm.
That's a word right there. if you said if your family has never seen.
I said, and I thank you, Daph, because I'm not a public person. But I'm happy because this is the way that me and Daphne talk to each other on a regular basis. Daphne is known in our friend circle for being the initiator of, mental check-in. Everybody needs to do their mental check-in right now. And it's so important that she does that because I know, not even just when Daphne around, but when Daphne not around, I kind of need to have, my act together because I'm that person that, for the most part, I be wanting to go off, and I do. But I'm in my late 20s now, like I said, and I'm trying to change the trajectory of my life, and I'm trying to preserve my energy for other stuff. So, um, I'm not a podcaster, but I support Daphne. That's why I'm here today. That's the only reason why I'm on this podcast today because I support my friend
Yeah.
Daph.
Well, I appreciate you, Shawana, for taking your time out and coming out here, what I'm saying, just sharing your heart with the people. I really appreciate that. Take your time on a Saturday, on a holiday weekend, and just sharing your heart with the people. Well, yeah. And also, too, for always letting me come crash at your house.
We at this point, Daph, I need to give you a key.
I know.
It is most definitely just a swinging door policy with you.
I know. It really do. I really
Mhm.
be there. You know what I'm saying? I do. I be pulling up to Dallas. I get in my
Like
ski,
this is
baby.
your mandatory stop when you driving from Austin to Memphis. This is like I'm stopping, passing through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, same here. And then Shawana spoke it to existence that I'll move to Texas. She said, I want all my girls to move to Texas. Everybody got to move to Texas. Then what happened? I moved to Texas. Then LaMonica moved to Texas. Well, yeah.
Mhm. It's only 4 more to go.
Mm-hmm. Four more to go. Well, yeah.
Mhm.
Shawana, are you going to let the people connect with you? Can the people connect with you?
Yeah, I have a Facebook. Sometimes I deactivate it. I'm not going to not say that, but I deactivate it because I'm just not on social media like that for the most part. But it's Shawana McDonald on Facebook, SHAWANA, last name McDonald, McDonald. Yep, that's about it.
All right, y'all. I'm about to close us out in prayer. Lord, I just thank you, Lord, for every listener out there, God. I just pray, God, that you are able to heal them, God, from any things, God, that happened to them, God, due to their family, God, treating them as a golden child or any feelings, God, a feeling, God, like a black sheep in their family. God, I just pray, God, that they know that they are loved, God, and they are seen, God, that they are loved, God, not because of the things that they do, God, or not how they perform, but because you see them, God, because you love them, that you create them with a purpose, God. I just pray, God, that you give them the strength, God, to have the difficult conversations, God, that they might need to have, God. I just pray, God, that just healing takes place, God, and that this burden, God, is lifted, God, from any person, God, who feel, God, that their family, God, is a burden, God. I just pray, God, that they know, God, that they are not the Savior, God, that you are the ultimate Savior, God, and that they're able to just lay their burdens, God, at their feet, God. And I just pray that you sustain every listener and subscriber, God, until the next time, God, and just be with them and just give them peace and joy, Lord, for the rest of their week, and that they're able to seek your face, God, and they may experience the goodness of you, God, in the land of the living, God. In Jesus' name I pray, Lord. Amen. All right, y'all. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Appreciate y'all for listening.
E.
Hey.